Hey, David.
Oh, hey, Anthony.
Fancy meeting you here.
Tell me about it.
Have you seen this video making its way on the internet? I don't know if you've heard of this before.
I may have.
Uh,
I see some videos on the internet. I'm known to video on the internet.
older guy.
Not to like actually video things, but to
by the
I'm
name
being videoed.
of Alexander Goldinsky.
Great name.
Yep. He gets some ice from the ice machine at his work.
I think I've seen what you're talking about. Keep it rolling though, so I can be sure. There's lots of ice-related stories going on right now.
He then appears
See polar vortex.
appears to purposefully place the ice on the floor by the ice machine.
Sure.
Looks around.
Of course.
And then kind of gingerly steps over to the ice.
Oh no.
Sits down. Lays back. And I guess made a fraudulent claim against the company. They negligently left ice in the near the ice machine.
They left the ice? Come on, Goldinsky.
Yeah. Little did Goldinsky know that there were videos capturing his every movement, and he's now being prosecuted by Middlesex County of New Jersey.
Curse those kids and their technology!
So David, there's always someone watching. As I've said it once, I've said it 4 times on this show. Technology's against us. Okay? The cameras, they're working against Mr. Goldinsky. Also, criminals, we've told you many, many times, you gotta be more creative. Ice, slip and fall, the evidence melts, right? I mean, like, use something that's gonna be marbles.
Now, the cameras could have worked in his favor if he was smart and like maybe took some acting classes and really committed. Yeah. His problem was he didn't commit to the bit. You gotta commit. Like, you gotta really, if you're gonna slip and fall on some ice, you gotta make the ice seem like it was obvious, or you gotta plant it there sooner, or have someone plant it earlier.
You need a co-conspirator.
You do. You need someone to plant the ice sooner. You need to walk over, pretend like you were just talking to someone. Oh, hey, Phil, slip, fall, money.
Even better if you can tell someone, like, from the facilities management or whatever, right? Like, oh, yeah, I noticed some ice. And, like, go over before they can get to it, right?
Oh, even better. That's a little too suspicious. Okay. Mention it, like, hey, I've noticed there's lots of ice around the ice machine sometimes when I go and get that, and it just makes me uncomfortable. Someone really ought to keep an eye for that, right? Yeah. So you mentioned that a couple weeks, maybe even a month in advance. Maybe file an official claim and just say, like, look, there's this ice all the time, and it bothers me. Like, I don't feel safe at work. All of a sudden, co-conspirator comes in, slip, right?
Right.
Then you fall, boom, money.
A minimal amount of effort, right? So
Goldinsky, we expect more out of you next time. Okay.
Yeah. If you put as much effort into your fake slip and falls as James Harden does into the phantom reaching in, right, and going up for a 3-pointer, you would be MVP of the NBA. You'd be MVP of the slip and fall basketball team inside the Middlesex County Jail.
I doubt that's a very prestigious league.
It's one of the better county jail rec leagues.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't keep up on it.
I've done my research.
Yeah.
Well, this is subjectively correct. We're recording. Yes. For, we don't need to get into it.
We don't.
We don't need to get into it.
We just don't.
So I'm not going to get into the fact that that was our third intro.
Read the thing.
The only show in the known universe featuring a couple of guys, namely me, Anthony, you, David.
I just want to say we're up to no good.
We're up to no good. And we started making trouble in...
I said I wanted to. I didn't say I was actually going to.
Okay.
Because then if you say one more line, I'm going to wrap the whole thing and just ruin this entire podcast.
That is so tempting.
I know it is, isn't it?
Okay. Welcome again. Visit the website, www.subjectivelycorrect.com.
There's 3 W's.
@subcorrect on Twitter. subjectivelycorrect@gmail.com on internet emails. And David, it's Super Bowl weekend. Yeah. It was Super Bowl weekend.
There was a bowl.
Football is over.
Yeah, there was a bowl. It wasn't so super.
It was the Meh Bowl.
I like that. The Meh Bowl of 2019.
Brought to you by Top Ramen. Meh. Meh Bowl.
It'll get you through.
It's good enough. It's better than no ramen. It's better than no bowl.
It's better than no food.
Yeah.
Do you go for the cup of noodles? Do you go for the noodles that you boil? What's your go-to on the ramen?
On the ramen, I like the shrimp for flavoring ramen. I think it's the pink package of Top Ramen.
You missed the question.
The one in the package that you break.
Okay, yeah. So the one you boil over the stove.
I don't know. I just eat it raw.
Do you really?
Yeah, you just eat it like chips, like a block of chips.
Like a block of chips.
Yeah.
Do you put the powder on the top of it?
It's like the dipstick, like the fun dip.
Okay, so
you lick it, you dip it, you crunch into it.
You fun dip your ramen?
Yeah, obviously.
You fun dip your ramen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super.
How long have you been fun dipping your ramen?
I mean, I've definitely done it going back to at least late 90s. I haven't done it much recently. But yeah, definitely something I did. Really cheap snack, super yummy. If you've never eaten your ramen raw, if you've never gone raw on the ramen, it's
raw ramen.
It's something worth trying. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's messy, so you might want to wear a bib.
It's that messy that you like legitimately worry about what shirt you're wearing when you eat it.
Right. You don't want to eat it in your bed. Okay, I've made that mistake far too many times.
Maybe it'll be better this time. Nope, on my sheets.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question now. How did you discover this ramen eating tactic?
Pure laziness. I thought I could take the 3 minutes to microwave this, or I could start eating it right now. Like, how fast can I get this package open? That's when I'm going to eat it.
So, little Anthony has his bag of ramen, stovetop ramen, that he's opened, and he takes the packet out.
Okay. Yeah.
What is the first attempt of flavoring the seasoning? What does that look like? The first attempt is
you pour over, and it obviously goes everywhere.
Right.
It doesn't adhere to the ramen because it's dry.
Okay, so that's attempt number 1.
Yep.
Just the dry powder on the dry ramen, and it's a no-go.
Yep.
What was attempt number 2 like?
Lick it and stick it.
Okay, so your fun dip, your fun dip ramen idea.
Yep.
Ramen dip, med dip, because it's not fun. It's just meh. So your fun dip idea is number 2, and that's one you've stuck with for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Why reinvent the wheel? Why you can't improve on raw lick stick ramen?
I have an idea.
What?
Could follow the instructions and cook it.
I'm a man. I don't follow the instructions. If it works, it works. It has the same nutritional value.
That's true. But you know what else has the same nutritional value? Okay.
Sand.
No. A baked cake.
Yeah.
Or all the ingredients in a bowl that you just eat.
Side note, have you ever just blended all the ingredients and drank your cake? Time saver.
What else do you do this with?
We'll get into that later.
We will?
Yeah.
There's enough to get into it later. Like
I feel like this conversation is probably more entertaining than what we have to say about the Super Bowl.
Well, by far.
Yeah. But we should probably get into the Super Bowl.
Okay, fine. I was avoiding it for as long as possible.
Lowest rated Super Bowl in 10 years.
I can't imagine why.
Here's why. Because...
you have the answers?
Because we've seen the Patriots. This is the 9th time in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay? That's one reason. The other reason is the Los Angeles Rams, you think, big market, but they've been there 3 years. And it's not a pro football town. At least not right now.
No, LA does not care about football.
No.
Like, they do not.
Dodgers, Lakers, yeah, big time.
I bet even the LA Kings.
Even the Kings, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think the fact that an LA team moves the needle. Like, I think the highest rated Super Bowl of the last 10 years, I'd have to go back and check, but the one thing I saw, I think it was maybe Denver, Seattle, which are not huge markets, but they have super loyal fan bases.
Exactly. And it's also the quality of the teams.
And Peyton Manning.
Manning, right?
Who somehow made the Super Bowl about him.
He was everywhere.
He was one of the more entertaining parts of the Super Bowl.
Now we know where you were, Peyton, all that time. When I was worried about you, you were just writing and producing and directing and starring in all these amazing executive producing, key grip.
Best boy.
Probably did the catering. That's one of the weirder credits out there. Best boy.
Best boy.
I'm the best boy.
What's great is like best boy number 2.
Yeah,
Does that even work?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How many best boys are there? It's like my mom's favorite.
Also, I've never seen a best girl. 2019.
For real. Should we change it to best person then? Because it could go either way, right?
Yeah, we don't want to be binary about it.
Yeah.
You never know.
What if it's like Alex Jones, best person, right? Like, you don't know.
I don't know.
It's Alex.
Yeah.
Right? Could be both.
I thought you were making like the Alex Jones, like the that political commentator. I thought you were.
Is there a political commentator named Alex Jones?
I think that's his name. I don't know.
It could have been a girl. That's my point. I don't know.
All right. So wasn't I mean, it was still like watched by 40-something million people.
More football. It's a national holiday. Like the Super Bowl is a national holiday.
Well, the Monday after should be a national holiday.
Yes. In fact, there are some people who think that it should be Super Bowl Saturday.
Oh.
That makes sense, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, it's tradition, and no one's going to change tradition. The NFL is on Sunday, right? It's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have kids. If your kid's on the East Coast, the game's not ending until 10:30 sometimes.
By the way, didn't love the commercials during the Super Bowl that my kids happened to see.
Lots of, like, horror shows, right? Lots of scary commercials this time around.
I had to play the game where I was like, it wasn't a real pimple. Like, no, it was just, there was a bug in him. There was a bug. And I was like, no, it was just a pimple. I used to get pimples all the time when I was a kid.
The commercial for that Jordan Peele movie where it's like there's a family and then there's another fake family that looks exactly like that family that's going to, like, murder the original family.
Us.
Super creepy. I don't think I'll ever see it, but, I mean...
That was the
I know
guy.
he won an Academy Award for Get Out.
Yeah.
I didn't see that either, but like
iconic, man. That movie is like part of society now. It's like that big a deal.
I mean, and that's the natural progression from Comedy Central sketch show to Academy Award winning writer of horror movies. That's a well trodden path.
You know what? It's kind of cliche, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bored with that.
Right.
Like, find something else to do. Comedy sketch writers and actors and performers. Like. Go do something else other than become an acclaimed horror director and writer guy. What most impresses
you? Do you think Stephen King's like, what? Like,
you've done it once?
First shot? What?
That's got to be irritating. He's like the Sean McVay of horror movies.
That's like Meryl Streep every time like an Anne Hathaway or like, what's the Hunger Games... Jennifer Lawrence wins an Academy Award. She's like, oh yeah.
She's like,
yeah.
You're clapping wrong. Meryl Streep claps
She's
like
been
this.
nominated like 50 times.
Meryl Streep claps like this. Yeah. For those of you on the podcast,
no, that's Nicole Kidman.
No. This was Streep.
Oh, okay.
This was the Streep clap.
I thought it was Kidman.
No, this is the Streep or the Grinch. Curse those juvenile delinquents in there. Yeah.
All right.
I used to do a good Grinch impression. Maybe it's more around Christmas time when my throat's more scratchy and I'm more Grinchy.
So the reason we're not talking much about the Super Bowl...
I'm not a Grinchy type person, though. I'm usually pretty cheerful, especially around the holidays, because I think other people are more nice. I don't change. I'm always that way. But I think other people have the spirit of Christmas, and they just get happier. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like I'm also happier, but people are just noticing my happiness because they're also happier. I think I'm delightful year-round.
That's one man's opinion. So I think the reason we're not talking much about the Super Bowl so far is because it wasn't super exciting, right? I think it was okay. A lot of people say like, oh, it wasn't entertaining or it wasn't like drama filled. Like I think it actually was, like, because it was close the whole time. So like, there was no separation, so you never knew who was going to win until the last few minutes. But there just weren't the like iconic Super Bowl plays, right? It wasn't a good football game.
It started off so well with the Patriots marching down the field and then Tom Brady getting picked at like the 20-yard line on the Rams 20. When I saw that, I got excited. It was cool. It was good football. The Patriots were moving the ball. Then the Rams called up a perfect defense to get a great pick.
Yeah.
The son of bum was doing work, man. In fact, I think the Rams defense did more than enough to win that game.
Oh, definitely.
They did more than enough.
I haven't checked it, but that has to be the lowest point total for the Patriots in a Super Bowl.
I think so.
But
their largest margin of victory.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you mentioned it while we were watching the game. I was over here watching it, and you mentioned they haven't won a game. They haven't won a Super Bowl by more than one score. Ever. Right. So this is
like
the biggest margin.
8 points was their largest margin of victory.
Yes, and that's crazy to me. So you mentioned Tom Brady could easily be 8-0 or 0-8 in these Super Bowls. And this is no exception. I mean, all it takes is Jared Goff to see 4 open receivers when they were wide open.
Yeah, if Brandon Cooks catches that pass in the end zone with like 4 minutes left.
A couple of things. Jared Goff threw it late. Jared Goff threw it weakly.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't all on Cooks.
No, not on Cooks at all. In fact, McCourty made an amazing play to break that up.
He did have 2 hands on it, like even though it was thrown late.
But McCourty,
but still.
Okay.
But still.
So you're gonna put that on Cooks?
No, I'm not. I'm joint blame. I think he could have caught that still.
Okay.
Right. A great catch, he would have caught it.
Yeah.
Right. But a better throw, he wouldn't have had to make a great catch.
Right. It seems like the ball was thrown late and it was thrown poorly, and Devin McCourty should not have had the opportunity to go all the way across the field. That's like the right fielder catching a looping line drive behind the shortstop. Did I say right fielder or left fielder?
I don't know.
Okay, it's like the right fielder catching a looping line drive behind the shortstop. And, I mean, that play should never happen from the Rams' point of view, right? It should have been a better throw, and it should have been thrown sooner. But Devin McCourty made a heck of a play. I'm not going to take anything away from that. To break away from your assignment when you see the danger in the back of the end zone and when you cover that much field to break up that pass, amazing. But at the same time, he never should have had that opportunity. I think Belichick exposed Goff.
Well, I think he exposed McVay. And I
don't know, because there were open players in the flats. There were open players in other places on plays that they needed it. C.J. Anderson was standing all by himself in a crucial moment, and Jared Goff threw it to 3 guys. One of them was a Ram. And it just makes me feel like, yes, Belichick outcoached McVay for the most part, but when they needed a play, McVay called a play to get a guy open. A guy did get open, and Goff missed him. That happened more than once.
Yeah, but I think that happens multiple times in every game, right?
That Goff misses someone, or that
no,
the quarterback
that quarterback will miss open receivers.
Sure, absolutely. But when they're that open,
I don't think Goff was ready for the moment. I think, like, all game, he just didn't look right. And he hasn't looked right for like 8 weeks, right? And their offense hasn't been good for about 8 weeks.
No,
even though they ended up like second best offense in the NFL by points.
Well, they started with a crazy run.
And so it almost has the feel of like McVay, he's still a young new coach. Like, people maybe are catching on to what he's doing. I don't know if that's the case or not, but their offense has not been good since their bye week. Right.
Here's what it comes down to. Todd Gurley had 35 yards on the ground. I mean, the play-action pass and the rollouts and the things that Jared Goff thrives on weren't there because the Patriots stopped the run. C.J. Anderson didn't go off like we hoped he would. Like, I think you and I were both rooting for C.J. Anderson to go for 150 and get 3 touchdowns. The opposite of that happened. He got negative 130 yards and he gave away 3 touchdowns. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. He was a non-factor. Gurley was a non-factor. And when that's the case, it takes away the play-action pass and it takes away the rollouts and things like that. And when Goff had to stay in the pocket, make good decisions, and make good throws, he was incapable of doing that. Now, I'm not saying that Sean McVay didn't maybe get outcoached by Bill Belichick, which is the easiest thing to say in the world. It's very clear that Bill Belichick and his defensive staff made a great game plan and executed a great game plan. I'm not taking anything away from them, but what Sean McVay can do is limited by who he has at quarterback.
But and also the fact that the Patriots controlled the ball for like twice as much as the Rams, right?
Yeah, so especially early in the game. So the time of possession ended up being 33-10 for the Pats and 26-50 for the Rams. And they had the ball a lot more in the second half than they did in the first half.
First half, it was almost double.
It was crazy, yeah.
And some of that is the defense that the Rams were playing. They made big plays when they had to. They benefited from a missed field goal, a turnover. They were playing, I think you said this during the game, a bend, don't break defense, right?
Yeah.
The Patriots were marching down the field, had control of the ball, but weren't able to get it in the end zone, and ended up only with a field goal by halftime. And so...
we all had that.
Yeah.
We all had a 3-3 game at halftime.
But even though it was only 3 points, you had the feeling that Patriots were in control just because of time of possession, and the Rams ended 8 straight possessions with a punt.
Oh my gosh.
8 straight punts. And they got to showcase their awesome punter.
The dude's a baller.
He was their MVP.
He was.
Which is super unfortunate. If I were giving out an MVP for the game, Edelman obviously deserved it from the eligible players, but I think this is like the one time you make an exception and you give Belichick the MVP. Like, the game plan that he and his staff put together, it held the second highest scoring offense to 3 points. And
lowest point total in the history of the Super Bowl for any team.
Yeah.
I think, have they ever given away a Super Bowl MVP to the defense? Didn't they do that once? Was it the Ravens?
I don't know if they've given it to an entire unit as opposed to like a certain
I know Von
player.
Miller won it once.
Yeah, no, defensive players have won it before.
But if there was ever a time to give it to just the defense, I think that was a time, because it wasn't just one player making great plays or a bunch of interceptions or fumble recoveries.
No, there was really no standout player in the game for either side. I mean, like the punter, right? But you're not going to give it to a punter.
Right, so Edelman,
and they lost.
Edelman annoyingly caught every pass he did and got a first down on it.
Yeah.
I want to check that stat. How many of his catches were for first downs? It seemed like all of them. And what's most frustrating is you only have to guard Edelman for about 3 seconds, or 2 seconds maybe, because Tom Brady wants to get the ball out fast. And you have Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh up the middle. but they were completely neutralized by the routes that they were running and how quickly Tom Brady was getting the ball out of his hands. He was hurried and rushed and sacked more than any time he had been in the postseason, and it still didn't matter because of how fast and efficient their offense is. So while the Rams have a quarterback and have a system that struggled, the opposite was true for the Patriots, where even though they struggled too, like I said, the Rams defense did enough to win that game.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do enough to stop them because the Patriots get open when they need to. Edelman and Gronk mostly, right? When they absolutely have to get open, they can dial something up to get that 3 or 4 yards of separation. Yeah. And Edelman looked wide open in the middle of the field all game.
Yeah, and maybe the biggest play of the game was that pass to Gronk. It was a 20, 30-yard pass.
Absolutely. And it was...
middle of the fourth quarter.
Perfect pass. Brady threw it, but it was the only real great play that Brady made all game. That was the only impressive play he had. He did not play well.
No, by any standard, he didn't play well.
Not just Tom Brady standards.
No,
not just Tom Brady Super Bowl standards, but quarterback standards, by Nick Foles standards.
But he adds to his streak of every time he's won the Super Bowl, he's had a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. Which, say what you will about arm talent or how his Super Bowl stats compare to other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, like he gets the job done more often than not. And I don't think there's any debate. I don't know if there was before this game, but like he's the best quarterback of all time. Like, there's the talent debate. That's fine, but like at some point, the overwhelming amount of rings, and you're like the most important part of your team, like that has to come into play. And for my money, he's the best ever. I don't think I'm going out on a limb there saying that, right?
And that's the easy thing to say right now. And of course, people will still debate it and say that other quarterbacks were more talented, of course, like you said. But I think he's definitely the most accomplished quarterback and one of, if not the most accomplished player in football.
Yeah. Anything else to say on the Super Bowl?
Now, what are you doing, halftime show?
Halftime show.
What are you doing?
We need to step it up. What was the SpongeBob thing about?
I have no idea. I think more fans were excited about maybe Sweet Sweet Victory being played than the Maroon 5 stuff. I saw so many people I was going to make the joke on Twitter, but 1,000 people beat me to it. Rams 3, Patriots 3, Maroon 5.
Yeah.
But, everyone beat me to it. But the combined score at the end of the game was just one more than 5.
Yeah. So looking forward for these two teams, like we've said it, I don't know, 5-6 years in a row that like the Patriots are done. We said it.
No, who said that?
Okay, no, people, not we necessarily. But,
thank you.
But media, sports media, will say it at some point. At some point during next season or prior to next season, you're gonna have more than one person who's an expert say the Patriots' reign is over.
This is the year it ends.
This is the year it ends. And it was very in fashion to say it this year. We talked about how they weren't playing as well, but we also called them the zombie Patriots because they always come back, and we said, look for it, they're going to come back. They did until Tom Brady retires, until like he suffers some horrible injury. I hope that doesn't happen. And in his game, he just can't play the way he does. And he's not like he's like a super mobile quarterback or anything. He just he hits the receiver when he's supposed to, and the receivers run the routes they're supposed to run, and like the offensive line protects him really well. Everyone just, it's so cliche, but everyone does their job. Everyone buys in, and that's like the magic of Belichick. It's not like he's running some like super complex offense or defense, but like everyone buys in. And there were so many like specials and montages that like ESPN and NFL Network put together about the Patriots, and like they say like, what's the Belichick way? And it's like you maximize like your potential in multiple areas, right? You contribute in multiple ways to the team. And that's like Edelman, right? Like he's their best option, their best receiver, with Gronk, but he's also their punt returner, right? And everyone just like does a little bit more. They're just like ultra focused in the moment. They do their job. They do it well enough. And when you have 22 guys doing what they're supposed to be doing, you win more often than not.
What does Tom Brady do other than play quarterback, though? You said he embodies
he's the Robert. He's a cheerleader on the sideline, man.
He is quite the cheerleader. Woo!
Yeah.
Well, I didn't love the game for a couple of reasons. We could have had Rams Chiefs.
Oh, Rams Chiefs!
Imagine that. We could have had that. We could have had that Walrus Andy Reid coaching against Sean Payton. We could have had Breeze and Mahomes, and it would have been a shootout. It would have been a more exciting. It would have been a funner Super Bowl for sure. So that was a little bit of a letdown just going into the game. But then there was also that hope that McVay would dial up some cool offense that would do that. But the Patriots' defensive game plan to shut them down. But also the game itself was just boring and cliche. It was like what we've seen over and over and over again. It was like watching a rom-com. Like as soon as the rom-com starts, the girl walks into the town, right, where she grew up, and then she sees the guy, and the guy is like now grown up, and they used to like tease each other in school and stuff. But then right at the beginning, like okay, they're gonna fall in love somehow, and there'll be some hijinks in the middle, right? It was like that. It was like we knew both teams were gonna come. Tom Brady was gonna see the new guy, gonna see Sean McVay being all cute over there, like oh he's new. But then they were gonna come like and have some hijinks in the middle. But we all knew what was gonna happen at the end, and that was Tom Brady holding up the trophy again. It felt inevitable from the beginning.
Yeah. No, it did. And then, looking towards next season, I think the Rams have a great team. I don't think they're losing anyone important. I mean, Sue was on a 1-year deal, I think, so maybe they lose him. But if most of their players come back, I don't see any reason they can't be in a similar position, and hopefully Goff figures it out. Like, he's got a lot of talent around him. They missed Cooper Kupp. He's their Edelman, right?
Yeah.
And so that would have been a big deal. He was kind of the safety blanket for Goff earlier in the season.
The Rams need to get their backfield healthy, which means Todd Gurley needs to get healthy, or they just need to stick with C.J. Anderson. Pick one.
Yeah.
And they need to get a tight end. I mean, Cooper Kupp takes that part of that role, but if you get a tight end like Kelsey, like Gronk, like Kittles, San Francisco, that offense will be even more unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Chiefs, Rams, Super Bowl 2020.
Please, save us.
Yeah. Or Chiefs, Saints, but I don't know. We'll see. With Taysom Hill at quarterback.
Taysom Hill. That guy. He's the Swiss Army knife of football players. We know. It's that time. The show is Subjectively Correct Sports because we are subjectively correct on what we talk about.
All the time.
From a certain point of view, we're subjectively correct.
All the time.
Shout out Alec McGinnis. So now we're going to move into what we call Objectively Correct Sports. Today's a special Super Bowl edition led by Anthony. I also have a pretty good stat here.
My objectively correct stats, I'm going to go through all of the records set or tied in this year's Super Bowl.
Do it.
Credit to Sports Illustrated for making my job easy this week.
Nice.
Okay. Records. Let's go with records matched this Super Bowl. Records tied. Most field goals for career Super Bowl, right? 7 by Steven Gostkowski. Most receptions in a first half, tied by Julian Edelman with 7.
Seems low.
Most Super Bowl wins for any team, 6. New England ties the Steelers. Fewest points scored in a Super Bowl, the Rams. And the fewest touchdowns in a Super Bowl, 0 by the Rams. All right, records set in this year's Super Bowl. Most appearances by a player, 9 by Tom Brady. That's incredible. Most wins by a player, 6 by Tom Brady. Also incredible. The oldest starting quarterback on a winning team, 41 years old, Tom Brady.
Was there an older backup that came in and won once? But anyway, keep going.
I don't know. Most appearances by a head coach in a Super Bowl, 9, Bill Belichick. Most wins by a head coach, 6, Bill Belichick. Oldest winning head coach, 66, Bill Belichick. Most completions in the Super Bowl for a career, 256 now by Tom Brady.
Compiler.
Most passing yards for your career in a Super Bowl, 2,838 by Tom Brady.
Compiler.
Longest punt ever recorded in the Super Bowl, 65 yards by Johnny Hekker.
Attaboy.
That's a positive Rams record. All right. Fewest points combined, 16 total. Fewest points by a winning team ever, 13 by the Patriots.
Yuck.
Fewest combined touchdowns ever, 1.
Yuck.
And then most consecutive drives ending in a punt, 8 by the Los Angeles Rams. So it was a game, glass half full of astonishing, remarkable defense, glass half full offensive ineptitude. Take your pick. Maybe a little of both.
Hall of Famer Craig Biggio drove in 1,175 runs in the course of his 20-year career. Barry Bonds, home runs alone, drove in 1,174 runs. Biggio's in the Hall of Fame.
Are we going to rename this segment to the objectively correct Bonds stats?
Bonds is not. That's crazy.
That is a remarkable stat. All right, so Super Bowl's over, and I see a lot of the baseball teams and players that I follow on Twitter saying, hey, now it's baseball season.
No, it's not.
Now it's time to talk about baseball.
No, it's
Do you
not.
know what we were talking about all week, and even like the morning of the Super Bowl?
And immediately after the Super Bowl.
And all today has been dominated by the NBA trade deadline.
Not just the NBA trade deadline,
but the NBA.
One transaction.
Yeah, one transaction.
We've been worried about one transaction. I don't know how the NBA has snuck in here and become the soap opera league for American sports. But no one cares about baseball right now. Yeah. In fact, there's a huge thing going on right now with baseball. So apparently there's over 100 free agents, last time I checked, who still hadn't signed in baseball. And so everyone's up in arms about the CBA and about how it's bad and how GMs and agents and players just aren't hooking up and it's bad for the game of baseball and all this stuff. You're probably hearing about it for the first time because nobody cares.
Yeah. So the spring training for every ball club starts within the next 3 weeks, and like 3 of the top free agents are still like yet to sign or be traded. Like you've got Manny Machado, you got Bryce Harper. There's still not resolution on JT Realmuto if he's going to be traded or not. And like,
how good are these GMs at their jobs? I mean, honestly, I feel like it's a tough job. Of course, can't be easy. Very few jobs in this world are easy, or else they wouldn't pay people to do it, right? But I mean, how bad is this that you can't get these players signed, or it's taking this long to get even the most standard free agent transactions done in the offseason. And you wonder why, I don't know. There were a lot of fun tweets talking about, and baseball's the boring sport when the game was tied 3-3 and stuff, and that was funny. But at the same time, nobody cares about your sport until September. There's a problem. Fix it.
Yeah. Well,
can you fix it, Anthony? Fix baseball right now.
Yeah, just remove the luxury tax and let teams pay whatever they want.
Oh, is that it?
I think that's it.
Really?
I think that's all you got to do.
That's all you have to do?
Yeah. And then what you'll have is like 10 really, really good teams.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of other teams that are farm systems for those teams.
You know, that's what's happening in the NFL right now anyway.
And that's what's happening in the NBA. That's what sports, I mean, because players want to win. And if they can do so and get paid, they're going to do so with their friends, right? They're going to do so where they think they have the best chance of winning. And it's hard to blame them. If you're a talented individual and you're working for a company that's going nowhere and you can make the same or more money working with better people at a company that has a better tradition of winning or of performing well, it's a pretty easy decision to make to leave your current company and go to another one.
Okay, who are you talking about? Go.
I'm not talking about
anyone.
I'm not talking about anyone. It's a general observation.
And who in this current NBA environment might apply to all of that crap you were just saying?
Oh, Anthony Davis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the Lakers have reportedly offered the New Orleans Pelicans Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
Kyle Kuzma.
Yep.
Brandon Ingram.
Well,
Rajon Rondo.
Of course.
Lance Stevenson.
Take him.
Michael Beasley.
That's right.
2 first-round picks.
Oh.
For Anthony Davis. And they would take back the Solomon Hill contract, which pays him $12 million this year and next year, which the Pelicans want to get rid of. Right. So that's basically as much as Los Angeles can do to acquire Anthony Davis. I mean, I think that's essentially them saying, "You tell us what you want, right? And you can have it." But there's still no resolution. There was like a lot of momentum earlier in the day that a deal would get done.
And I knew that because I got 15 tweets sent to me by Anthony while I was trying to teach my class today, all about Lakers stuff.
Mm. And
just kidding. It was like 5. It was like 3 during lunch. It's like all it was. I like to make it seem more extreme though. But 3 during lunch, and I didn't need to go look it up myself because you sent it to me during lunchtime, and I was like, cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Will a deal get done? I don't know. But as a Lakers fan, it better get done because at this point, Lonzo Ball, he's totally taking the Lakers off of his bio, Twitter bio. These young players who have never gone through or have gone through 1 or 2 trade deadlines, but they weren't mentioned. That they, there was no reason to think they would be traded.
They were untouchables.
All of a sudden now they're very touchable. They're trade bait, and they thought for a moment they were gone earlier today. So what happens if the deal doesn't get done?
That locker room would be salty.
Yeah, and LeVar Ball's reemerged now. Trying to dictate where his son's going to get traded to. Anyways. We've got 3 days left. Yep, Thursday afternoon, the trade deadline. Will a deal get done? I don't know. I don't know that the Pelicans have that much reason to do it, especially since Anthony Davis earlier today was reported he expanded his list of teams that he would sign a long-term deal with. From the Lakers to, he said there's 4 teams: Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, and the Knicks.
He wants to play with Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. Here's the problem with those teams, and he specifically left the Celtics off. And his dad was quoted earlier in the week saying, or last week, that he hopes his son would never sign or play with the Celtics because they don't have any loyalty.
Yeah, the way they treated
based on
Isaiah
how they treated
Thomas.
Yeah. And
the dude played through the loss of his sister.
Yeah.
He gave up a tooth. He was playing through a hip injury that may have ruined his career.
Yeah. So here's the thing with the Knicks. Who do they have to offer? They have
Kristaps Porzingis gone.
He's gone.
He's playing here in Dallas now.
Yeah, which I don't know if we're going to talk about that or not, but that was a crazy trade.
Yeah.
The Knicks did the most Knicks thing ever by giving up the best player they've had in 15 years for Dennis Smith Jr. and the expiring contracts of Wes Matthews and DeAndre Jordan.
So what that tells me is they're offloading.
Oh, yeah. They've opened up $75 million. Yeah, 2 max contracts is about $70 million. So they can sign Kevin Durant, Kyrie, or any combination of 2 max-level players.
Like Anthony
They've
Davis.
had cap space in the past and haven't been able to capitalize other than Carmelo Anthony.
That worked out.
Yeah. So whether or not...
Whether or not work out. For those of you that don't know that situation, the Carmelo thing did not work out. But they love him at the Garden, man.
So those 4 teams.
They love him.
Knicks, what could they offer? If they tank, which they're doing,
so
and they get the number 1 pick.
By trading Porzingis away, they were telling the whole world, we are taking.
We're done this year.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Porzingis wasn't going to play anyways.
Yeah.
But
they were punting like the Rams.
They have 4 NBA level players on their roster right now. They're tanking. But there's new NBA rules this year.
Oh.
The bottom 3 teams by record have the same shot at the number 1 pick. So there's no incentive to be the worst team anymore. It used to be a race to the bottom, right? If you knew you were going to be in the lottery, you may as well just lose and get the best percentage at having the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Now, you actually have a better chance of getting the 5th overall pick as the 1st. Just the way the percentages work out. So, there's really no incentive. There's no incentive to be the worst. I mean, there's some incentive to be in the bottom 3, but even then, it's, a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
And so, if they get the number 1 pick, maybe in the summer they could offer it to the Pelicans. Pelicans, if you're seeing Zion Williamson, and that may be intriguing. That's a franchise, a player you can potentially build your franchise around. But you already had that player in Anthony Davis, and you didn't do anything with it, right? Not that you don't take that shot. It's just the chances of that happening are slim. And if it doesn't happen, okay, so say the Knicks don't get the number 1 overall pick. There's a huge drop off. Like R.J. Barrett, some dude from Missouri or something that's playing. Who knows what college players' names are these days? I don't know.
It's too many to follow.
Yeah. So,
by the way, I yawned about a minute ago. Did you notice?
Yeah.
You did? You noticed?
No.
Dang, I thought, I hit it really well. I'm proud of that. I was like, I wonder if he knows I'm yawning.
The Bucks, who would you have to trade? Giannis? You're not going to trade Giannis. Mm-mm. And the other pieces aren't worth trading because you've got Chris Middleton, the second best player. His deal expires at the end of the season.
Just did it again.
Sorry.
Did you catch that one?
We're getting deep on this.
Did you catch that one? I yawned again.
The Clippers, Tobias Harris. Do you want to build your franchise around Tobias Harris?
Go up to 3.
So, these other teams, to me, aren't a compelling trade partner with the Pelicans.
That was a good one.
And if you wait until this summer to trade Anthony Davis, and those are the only teams he wants to sign with, are the Celtics really going to pony up Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, some of the picks they have from other teams
that they still have
for Anthony Davis on the hope that he and Kyrie stay for the long term?
I wouldn't trust a single thing any of these NBA players or their dads say ever.
Especially not like a Rich Paul client, because Rich Paul clients do what they want to do. Like, they have a plan. They know where they want to be.
They get there.
And they get there. Yeah.
So, I had a thought and I lost it. It was a good one, too. I swear it was a beauty. Players, don't trust them. What Kyrie Irving said.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning of the year, he took a microphone in the middle of Madison, what's their place? TD Garden or something?
TD Garden,
whatever it is now, it's a garden. He grabbed a microphone in an arena full of fans in preseason or the season opener or something and said that he was sticking around for the long haul.
If you'll have me, I'll stay. Yeah.
Something like that.
Even made a commercial, like, hoping his jersey would be in the rafters someday.
So, and then he came back a little bit later and said, I don't know anybody.
Anything.
And that just,
yeah.
Don't trust these players. These players are not, they don't care about your city. Many of them don't care about your team. There are the exception that do. There are the teams that really love and care about their city. Nick Collison, for some reason, is getting his jersey retired at OKC because he's one of those guys. But at the same time, don't trust these players, man. They're going to do what's best for them, what's best for their wallet, and what's best for their legacy, what's best for winning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a hard time to be a GM in the NBA because the real GM plays for the Lakers and wears number 23.
Yeah, it's definitely the era of player empowerment.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And it's hard. It's hard on these GMs. It's hard on the small market teams. I recognize that, but the alternative is you lock in these players to play with the team that drafted them, and that just seems inherently unfair, like un-American. That you would you would not allow a person to change their employer, right?
It's just an interesting concept where in sports we demand that the employee is on the lowest end of the totem pole, which is the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
So they're at the bottom of the totem pole, and we don't want them to move or make any fuss. We just want them to be where they're at and do what they're... You know what I mean? And then whenever they show any sort of empowerment and they want to move around or anything like that, we side with these billionaire owners and the GMs and the coaches. And it's like, why are you so pro this player while he's on your team, but then when he goes somewhere else and tries to improve a situation, you're so anti that player all of a sudden and pro your team? It's just weird thing.
Could you imagine a scenario where, like, Compaq is, like, appealing to Congress to limit Apple's ability to hire, like, the top tech talent, right?
No one would allow that.
No, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because Apple, with their resources, they can make an awesome product that millions of people enjoy. The Lakers, the Knicks.
What does Apple make that everyone likes? Name one thing Apple sells that people buy.
iPod Shuffle.
I remember the Shuffle. What a stupid
Every
thing.
day I'm shuffling.
So here's this music thing. You can't pick what's coming up next. It's always on shuffle, and it's always a surprise what's happening next.
Music roulette.
It really is.
Yeah.
And if, like, your little sister gets its hand on it, you're like, all right, cool, I like this song. Bye, bye, bye. And you're like, oh, no. The next song comes up, and it's Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. And it's like, oh, I'm going to pretend to not like this jam, but on the inside I'm singing every word. I'm dancing to it in my room by myself.
What's a song that you really like that you're embarrassed you like?
Oh, man. I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me.
I didn't say you had to sing it.
I know, but I just felt it in my soul.
Okay. All right, cool.
I mean, it's not like I actively seek it out. No, actually, it's probably the Linkin Park songs from, like, their first album. You know what I mean? It's those songs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing those because...
In the end, it doesn't... That one?
The one that made all white kids our age think they could rap. One thing. I don't know
That's
why.
right.
It doesn't even matter how hard to try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in good time. Just tell me now, dude. Just tell me now. Explain in good time.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably the song that I'm like, that I jam to in the car, like sing it real loud. And then, like, as I drive up somewhere, I'm like, I turn it down before I open my door so people don't know I was jamming out to the first Linkin Park album. Their second album was pretty good, though. The song Numb is really good on that album. Faint's a good one from that album.
Must have missed that
album.
album.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there.
Oh, yeah.
I've become so tired.
I bobbed my head to that once in, like, 2001.
Yeah? Okay, what's a song that you're embarrassed that you love?
I am not embarrassed about anything about myself.
Okay, what's the song that other people might want to rethink that? But what is a song that when it comes on the radio, you sing it and you're like, people would be embarrassed by this, but because I am such a perfect specimen, it doesn't embarrass me. But what's a song that like...
So I have to put myself in someone's shoes who cares what other people think of them.
Yes, I know that's hard for you being a sociopath and all.
Okay, all
but
right.
do your best.
All right, Barbie Girl?
All right, okay, I'll take... You jam to that song?
Yeah, at least like the core. But like, then I think about what the words are and I'm like...
not the best.
Not the best, yeah. What? Oh, man. Probably... something like Taylor Swifty, like early Taylor Swifty.
Okay.
Like
we were both.
Yes, that's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Saw you.
Here's the thing, I don't.
Close my eyes.
It's hard for me to like remember the songs.
Starts,
you're just a jukebox over here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got that memory. She wears high heels, I wear sneakers. She's cheer captain, and I'm on the bleachers.
Yep, that's a good one.
That one.
Yeah.
That would come to mind.
So would the average 34-year-old male be embarrassed to sing that out in his car? I don't know. I'm not. But maybe that fits the category.
What category?
Songs you're embarrassed you really like.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know, David. I own me.
You do own you. You do you. And you do you pretty hard.
I do me hard.
Yeah.
All right. I have a game for you, David.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's why.
Are we going to wrap the show with this game or what?
Yeah, I think so. It ties into NBA free agency and trade deadline.
Cool.
So the NBA is so exciting year-round because we're in an era of player movement.
I had 5 more minutes of music talk, but okay.
Okay. And nothing... I don't want to make it such a broad statement.
Hurry up.
Okay.
Get to your game.
I think something that really demonstrates this well is looking at all-star rosters from past year and comparing it to this year.
Oh.
Okay? So don't look at the screen.
You did this to me earlier.
Look at my face.
This was really hard to do before.
Stay focused on me, okay?
This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Okay. To stare this long in your face.
You should be so lucky. Okay. All right. So we're going to compare the 2016 Eastern and Western All-Star rosters to the 2019 Eastern and Western All-Star rosters.
And what teams they play on? Is that what I'm going for?
What teams they play on? Who's in the game? Just to show how much player movement there is in the NBA.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Question number 1.
Let's do this. In the words of every athlete ever, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Find something new to say.
How many of the 2019 Eastern Conference starters were starters for their same team, all-star starters for their same team?
Western Conference? Eastern Conference.
2019 Eastern Conference starters were all-star starters for their same team in 2016. So meaning they were Eastern Conference all-star starters and on the same team as they are right now.
I'm going to say 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kyrie Irving.
The answer is 0.
Get out of town.
How many of the 2019 Western Conference All-Star starters were starters for their same team in 2016?
Durant,
All-Star starters.
Harden, Curry, 3. I'm saying 3.
1.
Curry?
Curry's the only one.
Durant didn't start this year or last year?
Durant was on Oklahoma City in 2016 All-Star game.
Yo, you said 2016. I thought you said last year.
No, 2016.
Oh, well that changes my answer.
Well,
2, I don't know.
You have to pay attention.
I guess so.
Okay. How many 2019 Eastern All-Stars were All-Stars for their same team in 2016? So this is not starters. This is the whole roster.
They were just on their same team.
It's from 2019
to 2016. Off, so you know I'm not cheating because glasses off. I can't see crap right now. Okay, so ask me again because this is not complicated at all.
All right. There are 12 players on the 2019 Eastern Conference All-Star team.
Thank you.
Of those 12 players, how many are playing for the same team they were playing for in 2016?
Oh my gosh.
And we're in the All-Star game.
Anthony Davis?
Eastern Conference.
He's in the West. Dang.
Just give me a number.
1.
2. Kyle Lowry and Dwayne Wade. And Dwayne Wade made 2 pit stops in between in Cleveland and Chicago.
I think Dwayne Wade getting the commissioner's pick.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Do you have more of these? Because this is going super well for me.
Same question, but Western Conference. So 2019 Western Conference All-Stars. How many were 2016 Western Conference All-Stars for the same team?
2. Stephen Clay?
6. So this is a little bit more.
Lot.
6 of the...
so I got Stephen Clay right.
Yeah, Curry, Harden, Thompson, Aldridge, Westbrook, and Davis.
Oh my gosh. Harden's been with the Rockets a long time. It still feels new to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Probably because it's so ugly that I don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the way he plays is amazing. We're not going to get into this again. We've covered that in previous episodes.
Of the 26 All-Stars playing in the 2019 All-Star game, how many were playing for their current team as All-Stars in 2016?
So total?
Yes. Of the 26...
8?
11. Okay.
Did the number just go up? Wait.
Yeah. So this is now total... Basically, they're on the same team they were in 2016.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's only 11.
Only 11. So basically, over the last 3 years...
Glasses up? Can I glasses up?
Yes. So, if it wasn't obvious, over the last 3 years, just take a look at the Eastern Conference starters. For 2016, it was Dwayne Wade in Miami, Kyle Lowry, Toronto.
No, it wasn't Dwayne Wade. It was Dwayne Wade.
LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, Paul George, Indiana Pacers, Carmelo Anthony, New York Knicks.
He was a starter.
None of them are starters this year, and only one of them is still... Sorry,
none
two
of them are Eastern Conference starters.
None of them are Eastern Conference starters, and only one of them, Kyle Lowry, really made the All-Star team. Dwayne Wade was like a commissioner's pick, right?
Take that back. You take that back right now.
He's not on there for his play. It's a
lifetime achievement award.
It's a lifetime achievement, right? And then you've got all these other players: Victor Oladipo, Chris Middleton, Bradley Beal, Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, Nikola Vucevic, D'Angelo Russell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker. None of them were on the team in 2016.
Will you please say Nikola Vucevic's name again?
Nikola Vucevic.
You said it a lot faster that time. You were scared of it. You were like, let me just blow right past
Western
this.
Conference, there's a little bit more continuity, but still a lot of movement. And so it just goes to show, the NBA, it's so exciting because there's so much player movement.
And 1 or 2 players changes everything, especially those star players. That group of 10 to 15 players at the top of each conference, they go somewhere and it changes everything for the team they leave and the team they go to. Look at what Kawhi did with the Spurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why these next 4 days...
It seemed like I was building up a lot of steam to talk for a while, and then I just threw it at your lap.
Yeah.
I was like, so here we go, and then boom.
So these next 3 days, I don't know if they'll be exciting. I hope they are, because that probably means...
They might be exciting for you.
Because that means
you're
probably
so selfish.
Good things for me.
You don't care about other teams or the NBA overall. You just want your Lakers to get Anthony Davis so that...
The NBA is a better product when the Lakers
Stop
are good.
everything. Stop everything. Stop everything. I got a new NBA Buddies nickname.
Thanks for joining us on Subjective.
Okay, ready for this?
Okay.
Braun and the Brow.
LeBrow.
Mine was better.
It's okay.
Sounds like a French cartoon.
LeBrow.
like an inspector with a unibrow who always cracks his case. Call LeBrow.
Inspector LeBrow. Yes.
Like Pink Panther, except a brown eyebrow.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens over the next 3 days. By the time we meet up again next week, it'll be baseball season.
Not really.
It'll be spring training minus 2 weeks.
Are we going to talk much baseball, spring training stuff? I want to.
We're only going to talk baseball if there is super newsworthy stuff to talk about. Which means Bryce Harper and Manny Machado.
I mean, if I don't like talking about preseason football, it's going to be hard for me to talk about split squad, AA games in Vegas.
We can talk some golf coming up. We're going to have our sneaky good golfer of the week coming back up. Your sneaky bad golfer of the week, Sergio Garcia. You see what he did in was it Saudi Arabia? Somewhere in the Middle East.
He hit his putter on the green.
Yeah, he damaged some greens.
Got disqualified.
He whacked up a bunker. I mean, it was like... This dude's 39 years old, and watching him was pretty embarrassing. So
was it like an Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore style meltdown?
Mm-hmm.
And
if you speak Spanish, some very choice words.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying I'm excited to watch it because of the swearing in Spanish that I might pick up. It's Spaniard swears, and I might not. I know the Argentine swears.
Oh, you'll know them.
They're universal swears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes my students say stuff, and I'm like, oh goodness. I'm like, in Argentina, that means something awful. And they're like, it means bread. And I'm like, okay, that's not what it means in Argentina.
So we'll catch you next week. If something happens, let's just for the sake of checking, I'm going to check Twitter real quick just to make sure Anthony Davis is not a Laker yet. And
Tom Brady.
And
who's that?
No.
Politics.
Anthony Davis is still a Pelican. So if something breaks in the next few days, not close to our Monday show, maybe we'll do a live reaction. I may need to get on there. I may need to get on there and vent if nothing happens.
I think
because this destroys the locker room.
I think, and if whatever happens, good or bad, Thursday night trade deadline. You need to live stream what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll watch that and I'll make fun of you.
All right. Until then, we don't have a sign off.
We don't. We need one. I think all of your ideas for me ending the hot take minute were really bad. I think you killed the hot take minute.
I gave you one suggestion because you couldn't think of anything on your own.
It was garbage. You expected me to write, perform, produce, do everything on the hot take minute, and you can't contribute at all to that.
It's literally 1 minute.
I think it's well documented that it's stretched beyond 1 minute at this point. It's a lot longer than 1 minute. When I do it, it's more than a minute. Do not cut me off while I'm telling the people about my situation. Don't do it. Don't you cut me off. Don't.